Hello. Welcome to Bump Love this week. How has your week been? My name is Barbara Ichumar and I'm your host for today. Ladies, how are you doing?
Fabulous.
I'm wonderful, thanks.
Awesome. If you're looking for content on womanhood, motherhood, parenting, and anything to do with women and womanhood, the Bump Love Show is the one for you. Yeah. Go down, subscribe, like, comment, and join us as we get into today's episode. Awesome. So ladies, now that you had an awesome week,
Yes.
on the streets of Kampala these days, you see so many beautiful cars.
Sure.
UBP, UBG, what is the last one?
So for me, I just remember the it's raining. The other day splashes in water.
Yeah, meanwhile, half the people in the economy are saying there's no money.
Right.
Guys, where are you getting the money? Anyway, what is your favorite car?
Favorite dream.
Dream car.
Dream. Favorite dream. So, I have a small, anyway, it's not very small. So, when I was growing up, there was this movie I watched. I want to see it again. But it was this movie of this lady who is rushing to work. Yeah. And she's in such a hurry. She gets into her car. It was a Jeep Wrangler, red.
Of course
she had like blonde hair. And she looked so good. She was in a nice mess. You know those people who look nice, messy?
They make it work.
They make it work. They make it look so nice.
So natural.
So natural. So she gets into the car, and as she's driving the music, she blares up the music, and then looks into the rear view side mirror, and then puts like some red lipstick.
Ah, okay.
That woman, I don't know which show you are on. I don't know who you are, but you did something for me in my life, because I remember watching it and I wanted it.
Okay.
I
You wanted the experience.
I don't know whether it was the experience, but I think it was the illusion I had of her life. Okay. She had a powerful car.
Yes.
She was putting it together. Yeah, messy, but it was beautifully messy. And she just gets into the car, does her makeup from the car, gets out, she goes into a meeting, finishes all the men in the meeting, gets out, as in, I was like, you are my
I want
dream.
that car.
I want you, plus your car, plus everything you have. So anyway, she had a red Jeep Wrangler. So I kind of feel like growing up, I always wanted like a monster car. I wanted a monster truck.
Ah.
But I'm also kind of like low-key tomboy.
Yeah.
And so those cars do something to me. I just be there and you hear it pass, go, and I'm just like, oh. I really, really like it. Now, that dream just stayed there. And then one day I saw the Mercedes G-Wagon. That was it. That was it, because for me, it was like the marriage between the tomboy of my youth and my childhood to the woman that I am right now. I feel like it's that one car. Like it has the ability to be man, but also female. I don't know. That car, it does something to me. And I'm calling upon you, G-Wagon, please. I feel you, I want you, I claim you, come into my life, I'll drive you, you'll not believe it. Yeah.
I love the question. I like cars with personality.
Oh.
And so I've always imagined what it would be like to drive a fast car with the hood down, and there I am, steering it with one hand, listening to music while speaking to my children who are at the back. The personality of everything about the car, the weather, the place, it just blows into the atmosphere, and that's what I want.
So it's any
with
car,
personality.
as long as it just has...
It has to have the right person. Not every car can give me that vibe. It must have that right feeling of freedom. You see?
Your hair.
It's such a freeing experience when the hood is down, the hair is blowing, and you're speaking to the room behind, music is on, because it has a holiday feel, liberation. You are driving towards endless opportunities.
I feel like you're looking for chemistry in a car.
That's it.
Oh.
You mean you're not? What are you looking for? The
No,
size of the engine?
The sound.
The
So for
sound.
instance,
The
when she
sound.
talks about the car,
Yeah.
the sound of the G-Wagon.
Ah, okay, that's lovely. It's
I
so
feel like
romantic.
it jacks you for the day. Like, yes.
You can get me pregnant on the sound of a G-Wagon.
Yeah.
I promise you. If Mr. Mlondo wanted more babies,
G-Wagon.
and take him with G-Wagon.
Sir, you've had.
all right.
Mine
right.
is the Volkswagen, the Touareg.
Oh,
I will be specific, starting from 2020 up to 2023. It's got the aesthetics. The eyes. You know how a car has eyes, like it has makeup.
my
you know,
gosh,
yes. The grill. The sound. The way it looks on the outside. Then at the back, it's like it has hips.
A bum.
And the back, honestly.
you thought about this so much.
I watch it, I look at it. I love cars.
Oh my goodness.
So when it passes, you know, every time someone drives by and they have it, I catch my breath. So I met a lady that has it and I said, can I come in? The interior is nothing like the exterior.
Wow.
It's got a smart radio. You can connect it to your phone, make calls.
Yes.
Navigation system works. Interior, the smell of leather. Like,
Oh,
yes,
guys.
genuine.
I like the thought you put into
leather,
it.
because I
It's
love
so
cars.
impressive.
I do love cars. So when I see it, I've even watched videos of
May
it.
you get that car soon. I want you to get
Why
that car
did you
soon.
wish for me that
You wanted to have
she
more
didn't have
children.
she wanted
No, I ended with having more children. I thought, well, I don't want to be part of the more children, be responsible for that.
Oh, it's the chemistry. Me, I already have the chemistry with that car anyway. You didn't have the chemistry.
I have chemistry.
Yeah.
Okay, with my whole story. So,
So-
babe, you finished
Yeah.
me.
So for me, it's really
Yeah.
the Touareg. Navy blue or white. I'm down to that detail.
Wow.
Today's topic is so big in relationships. In some relationships, it's the white elephant. It is not addressed, but it is in the room and it's taking up half the space in the room.
Yeah.
In some relationships, it has been the cause for fights.
Yeah.
In some relationships, ultimatums
Yeah.
have been given
Right.
because of what we're going to talk about today.
Right.
Hey.
My name is Barbara Ichuma. I live in Kampala. I have lived with this condition for the last 25 years of my life. You know how people introduce themselves in AA meetings.
Yes.
This topic, I live in a glass house with a glass roof and a glass gate. Like, it doesn't matter where someone is, if they threw a stone, it will break
hit
something.
you.
Hit you fast.
It will break something. So I feel like for me, it's really a glass house for me, but a glass house I'm happy to live in.
Right.
Ladies, today's topic is best friends, or even just close friends,
Yes.
Yeah.
of different sex.
Opposite sex.
Opposite sex.
relationships.
Opposite sex relationships, friendships,
Friendships. Yes.
platonic. Please,
Yes.
we're not going to introduce all the others. Today it's platonic,
Platonic.
relationships
Yeah.
with of the different sex,
Of the
opposite
opposite
sex.
Yes.
Yes. So,
Wow.
the first question,
Yes.
is it okay to have best friends or close friends of the opposite sex? The husband, can he have a close friend that's a lady? And can the wife have a close friend or BFF, as
Yes.
people like to use it these
Yes.
days?
Okay, so first of all, one of the things that I've always heard like women say is that, me, I don't have many girlfriends, I have guy friends. And I've always asked, but I don't hear men saying that, oh, we have
There you
a
go.
friend is a girl. I'm
Yes.
just like, men,
friends,
they'll have the friends, but they low key, and they don't
Yes.
even talk about it. And
Yes.
yet us, the woman is just like, to me, I don't like girl friendships. It has me, I just be with guys. Like, but the guys, they're not booking you. They're not claiming you.
Yes.
They leave you out there in the rain. They're there for you, but nobody knows them as your friends. But anyway,
Yes.
How
That's
possible?
it.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
is
it.
an innocent friendship.
yes, that's it.
opposite
So we've had
sex,
this
yeah.
conversation with Brian, and it's been about male friends that are in my life. Now, I naturally I'm a naturally friendly person, and I'll naturally attract both sexes as friends.
Yes.
I don't enter very, very deep friendships. Like I'm not that. I feel like I don't have that time to.
Yeah.
So when I got married, there are times when there are guys that come into my life and Brian is just like, no. That one, no. And all the time I've always asked him, I was just like, but why? Then he would always say, because I'm a guy. I know what men want. I'm like, no, but we work together. We are colleagues, or we go to pray together, or we are trying to get into business together, or he's helping me to do X, Y, and Z. And Brian will go like, no.
Yes.
And I'll be like, but why? It's like, because I'm a man, and I know what men want.
Yes.
And so I remember once I asked him the same question because there were girls around him, and he's just as friendly as I am. He's in the limelight.
Yes.
He has so many girls around him, and so I'm just like, and do you? Because I come from a family.
You also know how women think.
I'm also like, also me, I know.
Yes.
I know how
Look at her rolling up her sleeves.
Yeah, of course.
Because it's that
better
time.
be ready.
It's that time.
So I'm like, so explain to me how come? And then he's like, no, you see, that day I was like, friend, today leave all my male friends alone.
Yes.
So from that day, when
Yes.
he was trying to explain how it's okay for men,
Yes.
because I'm just like, you see, I'm those girls to all the boys or the guys that you don't want me to be friends.
Yes.
Then he's like, no, with you it's different. I'm just like, no, it's different because I'm your wife. He's like, yeah. That's
Oh.
it. You are spoken
I
for.
like that.
Yes.
You are my wife. And you know what, Manuela, what's annoying with men? I said, no. Most times they will not even like
Yes.
you as a woman, but they want to
Yes.
either hurt me or get to me, so they get with my wife. No.
Yes.
Not possible.
No. No.
So, is
So,
it possible for a platonic relationship to exist?
Actually, you're the one who told me it's not possible. I don't know how to share this. We share some mutual friends who are male, and there was a friend who I thought was like, we're just like happy people, happy. But then he was sending me some messages, and when I said, Banange, what will it do? Then you are like, Manuela, guys will always be guys. I said, oh my gosh, she's speaking like Brian. Yes. And she said, but the difference between you and Brian, well, Brian told me to leave the relationships.
Yes.
You told me, be aware that a man, ultimately, any scat is a possibility.
Yes.
So he lives in a life of possibility.
Yes.
All the scats are possibility.
So if the door
and so you
opens-
told me, you,
Barbara.
you told me,
Yes, I have had.
there is no platonic relationship if there is ever an opportunity to take advantage of that relationship. So you're the one who controls whether or not that relationship will be platonic
Yes.
or not.
Beverly.
I absolutely love what you've said. I have already written 3 books just from your response and from your question. In my mind, I have written 3 books. May I start from my O-level?
Yeah.
I was in Gaza High School, which is a single girls' school.
Right.
When boys visited, we went wild. Barbara, you were there. We went wild. Weary boys have come. We went running up the hill. Oh my goodness, boys, because it was rare. And yet, as adolescents, our signs of puberty and the hormonal need was triggered because there were boys in trousers,
Right.
which we felt we had been denied. When I went to A-level from Makerere College, I was then immersed in a sea of boys, sitting with them in class, discussing with them, and it was such a beautiful experience. And I thought, this is so normal and beautiful. However, I was acutely aware that they were boys. At the same time, I enjoyed the normalcy of it. And I became fascinated by the fact that everything I heard about boys is true, but we have to be aware and in control. Because every girl whose mind becomes aware of this, maybe 13 or 14, knows that you have to start setting boundaries mentally and emotionally. So even with these boys, some of them are my friends today. Every time we sat in class, I was aware a boundary has to be set. And it could start from simple things of, it's all right, you don't need to escort me to the dormitory. I will go with my other friends. It starts from that.
Right.
Knowing that as an adult, you have to know what point do you stop sending messages to boys. You have to know the boundaries. Why? Because each of us is acutely aware. Now, as married...
Aware that
if the boundaries are crossed, and we know those boundaries, but what
Right.
happens when we want to cross them? Because danger is beautiful. It's beautiful to test.
exciting.
It's exciting. And sometimes you may feel like your husband is not giving you the attention you want.
Right.
You want to be complimented that, Beverly, that you are wearing that red.
Right.
And do you know who gives it to you? Your
Danger.
workmate.
Danger.
Your workmate.
Gives it to you.
And you glow in that.
Right.
You're aware of the danger, but then you appreciate because you know what? I needed this. It happens once. It doesn't
Right.
stop there. Because once you accept it, another day it will grow into something else.
Right.
Soon, even when you don't need a ride, if
Yeah.
your husband offers you the ride, you'll be like, no, it's okay.
My workmate will bring me.
Now, when you stop mentioning the name of that person, then you know. For example, if I am going to meet Brian for lunch, I may say, why are you meeting Brian? Emma will say it's okay. But if I start saying, I am meeting Manuela's family, that's when I have reached danger zone.
Right.
So you also know, the boundaries. So the boundaries, for me, it's what time do I stop sending text messages to men of the opposite sex?
Right.
Because if a man starts texting me after 10 p.m., it's no longer about work. I'm sorry, it is not. I don't care the time zone.
Even if he's talking about work.
I do not care the
you're
time
like,
zone.
no.
It is not, and both of us are aware. But we enjoy this game because we're like, if anyone sees the messages, weren't you talking about the proposal?
Right.
But what we're doing is enjoying the silence of the night when everyone else is asleep. That's what you're doing.
Connecting.
Yes, and we all want that connection. Is it possible to have a platonic relationship? Of course it is. However,
Really?
with every freedom of experience, know the boundaries. If you really want to enjoy it, know the boundaries.
Okay.
And you'll know. So it is possible, but with everything, if it's excessive, you know. But it's sweet to be in that danger zone.
Can I ask, though?
Yes.
I've always wondered, like, people who go to same-sex schools and
Yes.
then go into...
Crossover, yes.
Yeah, and then crossover.
Yes.
And I know I don't want this to be... I could just speak about it generally, because I
Yes.
know it's not
Of
the
course,
case for
different experiences,
everybody.
yes.
Yes, exactly. Fear of generalizing
Yes.
your answer.
Yes.
Isn't it possible that it became normal for you
Yes.
to have boys around because you are little in the older
Yes.
years of your adolescence,
Yes.
as opposed to when you are younger? Like, if this
Yes.
was flipped for
Yes.
someone else, like when they go into a mixed school as a young adult,
Yes.
young adolescent,
Yes.
and their experience is going to be different in terms of like having boundaries and stuff like that.
Well, remember, for the later years of my primary, I was in Kampala Parents.
Okay.
And there were boys there. But even then, from the age of 11, I realized how attracted I was to boys. And then it was competition. If I beat them in English, I have, show them I'm better. But then, when I got to P7, then I knew, oh my goodness, I actually like it when we sit together and we are, And then we would have parties in P7. I had a big party for my P7 VAC. And then you're dancing close together and you're like, my goodness, this really feels good. But then maybe you don't care about boundaries, but you know who does? Your parents are still around chaperoning.
Right.
And so there's a need for boundaries. I'm telling you, it's possible to have these relationships, but the moment an opportunity comes, I don't care what cassock you wear, how many Bible verses you can quote.
Yeah.
Because the flesh was not saved. You have to beat the flesh until... Do we like beating the flesh? Of course not.
No.
I want the attention, excuse me.
Right.
But if a man says, I'm going to buy you that car with the hood down on your hair, I will run to my husband and say, this man has said this. do you know what will happen? I'll say, you know what, let's call this man to a meeting, and he meets everyone. And that's what I do. If I'm getting attention from a man and I know that I like it, I'm like, I have to stop this now. And I say, oh, it's wonderful. I'll be in a meeting, but why don't you call Emma at that time? Do you know how fast that conversation will end? Why? Because I respect my husband so much. I may not like what he's doing at that time. I feel he's annoyed me in the morning, but I respect him, and I respect the consequence of what it will do to my family. And this is not to say, because I walk with such righteousness, I don't. I do like the attention sometimes when I feel I'm not getting it at home. I absolutely do want it, but out of respect of what it may do, I then stop thinking with my heart and think with my head. Stop it before you become so gluttonous and you can't stop it anymore. Okay? And so, stop it before the dress is off. Before the person...
Before you want him...
In other words, yes.
Before you want him to know the taste of your lips.
Auntie,
that dress I look nice.
So
you try to my
how have we reached there?
She has jumped. Don't spoil our movie. We're still
on
in
Kampala Road.
I've already
approaching
reached
Ginger
Ginger
Road.
Road.
You're at the airport.
So what I'm saying is, sometimes just think with your head, and that's what has helped me. So it's possible, but be aware. Think with your head immediately and don't rationalize it. Want to rationalize, but this man is with me in church. What can possibly happen? I'll just say, believe me, you know. And let's not pretend we don't know. But there are times when we like it and we want it because our husbands at home are not giving us attention. Out of respect for that, stop it immediately, and there are ways you can stop it. Invite the man in the conversation and say, he wanted to take me out for... Can my husband come as well? If we're going to the beach, that conversation will end. Will your wife be there? Should I bring the children?
You see the joke of, can I buy you lunch? I have a boyfriend. And then the person responded, is he also hungry? Like, why are you letting me know that you have a boyfriend? But those are the kind of things.
Yes.
The glass house. As we were throwing stones. As we were throwing stones.
Speaking from the broken house. Again, my name is Barbara. I believe it's possible.
Really?
It is possible. Say, for instance, when it comes to friendships, don't see gender. I see value systems. And quietly, most of us are friends with certain people because our values are similar, especially the people that come close to us. The acquaintances and people around us, I mean, it doesn't matter. You can watch them do something that's against your value system and you're like, But the people that we bring closest to us, we agree on so many things. So I being aware of myself and I now know that I see kindness, I see godliness, I see excellence, I see hunger, I see hardworking people. And I'm also one of those people who believe in natural selection. Somehow you will be close to the people that are similar to what you're looking for in life, or how you behave, or what you believe in your daily, because our values determine our behavior. There are things you're not going to do because your values will not allow you to be rude and unkind to someone. Then you are kind. So that's how I feel my friends have been selected, the close ones. Because we have conversations and that can go on for hours and we're agreeing. When it comes to money, we'll talk for hours because we know we want to be somewhere. We have a plan for retirement. We have a plan for our children to give them the best life. We have a plan to live comfortably. So when we sit and discuss money, it's a long conversation. When we sit and discuss children, they're men, but family is so important to them. One of them, I will not embarrass you, goes for immunization with his wife for his children. He will stop meetings and say, guys, I can't come for that meeting tomorrow. My child has immunization. Do you know how faces turn? Everybody's like, your child has what? Because we know that at immunization, women are either with the maid or she's carrying a bag and a baby, and the baby is crying and she's panicking. Every immunization. Class days, sports days, these guys attend them and they're not ashamed. So I find that we come together because of that natural selection. I watch my daughters today. They are closest friends. Excel in class, excel in sports, and because that's how they are. They are too young to have sat there and schemed who is going to be their friend or not. Natural selection brought them together. However, I also believe in boundaries. Because it's been my lifelong story. In school, I sat next to boys, and we were really close friends. It bothered my parents until they got to understand it later. They're like, why I have friends? Boys. But I guess from that age, it was value systems, really. So, but there've always been boundaries. Right. I know that, for instance, if I have a friend that's not married, right, I will not go to his house.
Yes.
Okay.
We can meet in office, we can have lunch, we can. Then nighttime, even before I was married, we can't have nighttime plans. Yes. Why are we having dinner and looking into each other's eyes? We are friends. But, no, like, honestly.
Yes.
We're looking into each other's eyes.
Even tea. You know, like, if a friend said that, a male friend said, let's do tea, I'm like, friends, tea is for people looking into each other's eyes. Why are we having tea in the evening?
So what food is not? Posho? No, say it now.
It's not even, so here it's about time. It's about the time of the day.
I promise there'll be no romance. There'll be no romance.
The soup is going through the fingers. So anyway, I know that boundaries are very important.
Yes, yes.
Before I got married, we could have conversations at any time of the day, any time of the night. Although I feel this has crossed over even to the girls, the close friends that I have.
Yes.
When I got married, Manuela is sending me messages saying, hi, can we talk, or is Humphrey in the house? And I'm thinking, but this is a babe. She should be able to call. But it's boundaries. Right. So Barbara now lives under the authority of Humphrey. So we can't access her at any time
that we want.
And you're a lady. So even the boys.
Right.
Unless it is so urgent, I will not get phone calls after 6 o'clock.
Right.
And yet 6 is early. Right. So they'll call during the day, they'll send messages. If something must be communicated, it will come in a message. Right. So again,
there you go.
Boundaries. Yes. Right. Another thing is openness. Does Humphrey know my male friends? Yes. Do I speak about it? Oh yes, I have a meeting with so-and-so, I'm going to do. They even can come home when he's there. So I feel like to be open with your friendships, no surprises. Yes. Right. Like someone comes and says, hey, we saw Brian at Kayali having lunch with a tall lady.
I should be able to tell.
You should be able to say, tall, that's Beverly. Yeah. So I think openness.
Thank you, please don't mind me.
Yeah. So I think openness is very, because if we start to limit ourselves and say there can't be a possibility, we can't have friends of the opposite sex, and what we miss out on opportunities.
Right.
Friends, we're all journeying through this thing called life, and we are going to go one day. Yeah. So if we start to cut off and get into societal standards and all, we're going to miss out on opportunities.
Yeah, I still will never forget the comment you made. Yeah, I don't remember it. But let me tell you. No, you really honestly told me, but Manuela, if any guy will want to get into the skirt of any, like if their opportunity arises. So it's, because for me, I always feel like, you can have so many boundaries, and it's wonderful, and he's such a good friend, and he keeps the boundaries, but then one day you've been pissed off with Humphrey. Yes. And at that point, you're vulnerable. And he calls you. He's like, so where there is me, you're like, no. He's like, well, what's up? What's going on? Are you okay? Are you fine? You're like, no, I'm not fine. Then before you know it, but where are you? Like, no, let me come. Yes. And the natural thing for a guy to do when he sees you crying, because he really doesn't know what to do with himself, is to hold you, to hug you, to offer protection. Now let us imagine, God forbid, a man beat you. He's like, what do you mean? He did what? No, let's protect you. Let's take you. Then before you know it, this relationship that was
Platonic.
Yeah.
Has evolved.
So for me, I guess my question is, can it evolve?
Of course.
Of course it can.
Of course it can.
That's why given the opportunity.
Yes. Of course it can.
I feel like it's not a fire.
Yeah.
You know, like firewood.
Yes.
When you light it, there's like a small fire.
Yeah.
When you put more firewood, it will come ablaze.
Yeah. So in other words, cut it before the zip is off.
And you have control. Yes. Don't allow your female friends or male friends to make phone calls to you at 10 p.m.
Don't respond.
One, it's disrespectful. But two, then you take it and you're on the phone for an hour with a male friend because you have the freedom to. Yes. But your partner is at home.
Yes.
And what are you saying? Indirectly you're saying,
this time is not
I have
important.
No respect for you, and the time we have together is not important. Okay. It's an indirect message, really.
It is.
Yeah. So
in other words, what do you value?
So should husbands be wary, should husbands be wary of their wives' male friends, or wives wary of their
husbands' female
friends?
They should be aware, but in certain professions, certain spaces, can we be aware of all of them?
Okay.
But you can be wary. Women, we know. We know when something may be off, and a man will know when something may be off, all right? Given my husband's nature, people depend on him a lot for comfort, for spiritual support, because that's the person he is, and everyone will come. And because he's giving, he's like, I'm so glad I had another day to give my time and understanding. He holds the secrets of 5 million people every day. And you know what? He loves it, because that is his service to humanity, and he does it so well. He does it so well. He holds those secrets, he holds them well, and he is able to give time and understanding and listening. Until there was a time when I had to, especially when the children came, and I had to make him aware that we need some of that time as well.
Right. As a couple.
We need some of that time as well.
Yeah.
And then not all of those were men, but we needed some of that time as well. In other words, we too would love to be part of your caring and your prayer and your...
Receive your service.
Yes. In other words, so now
humanity.
It became
we are also humanity.
Yeah, so it became so intentional.
Yeah.
When we have prayer time and we listen to each other, he's giving us the same. Because I always say, if I'm in a space where I'm empowering children and training them, may I do the same to my children as well?
Right.
My children should not run amok.
Yeah.
And I train young children a lot and young learners a lot. Why don't I give my children the same? I must give my children the same.
Right.
I write poetry for so many people. When my husband turned 50, I designed a poem for him, put it in a frame, because I said, I do this for others. Let me do it for him.
Right.
And do you know how wonderful it felt? I said, but I've done it for so many, and people love it. I have to do it for him. So in the same way you give a service to other people of the opposite sex, give the same to your husband.
Right.
With the same conviction and passion.
Right.
And that's what I had to learn, and that's what I had to gently tell him as well. Right. And it worked. It's not always easy, because we're more inclined to give towards those who are giving us financial reward. Sometimes it's hard to see the reward we get from our spouses.
Right.
But what reward are you giving me? This one, once takes me out to dinner, I see the reward because the chicken is sizzling. But with my husband, sometimes the child is there, and the what is there, and and then we're talking about the grocery list, and so the reward is, you know, and so
let's boil a chicken.
Let's boil. Must we go out really? Can't we just boil and add a bit of black pepper?
Right.
So sometimes it's hard to see that what reward am I getting, because we take it for granted.
Right.
And so when he is sometimes with female friends, maybe he's taking me for granted. He may not know it, but I feel being taken for granted because I've looked after the 4 children, and you cannot take me out. Plus you cannot even, because it's like, wait a second, but we live together. We're going to be with each other forever and ever.
The bills,
and you're not going anywhere, are you? Are you leaving? Is something wrong? Tomorrow, okay, let's see what date I am free. And so it's so much awareness.
Just being able to give what you give the other
Give what you give to the other side as much as you can.
Yeah.
That's what I had to learn. Yeah.
Speaking of which, one of the lessons that I learned is that we give a lot of grace to our friends.
Yes.
If I call Manuela and she doesn't pick, and she calls me back after 3 days, which she does sometimes. When she calls me a bit
anti-priorities, friends.
Brian was a priority.
So
good thing. That's what says, hey, I'm not priority. I'll wait for 3 days.
When she calls me after 3 days, I'll even have forgotten, by the way.
Right.
So, but when the phone flashes, I'm like, I needed her for something. First, of course, I'll first push her around for it. I'm like, Manuela, one day you will call me and... But when we call our spouses and they don't pick, they will call you back after 30 minutes or 1 hour. And even them as they're calling, they're like, oh, but when we call, he's calling, but he's put the phone in his phone because he knows fire is going to come. So for me, one of the lessons that I learned, can I extend the same grace to my male friendships as I do to Humphrey? Same grace. And it's possible. It's just that, like she said, we take it for granted.
Yes.
And you're so used to him. You're like, no. But the same way I treat them, the same grace, the same forgiveness, the same kindness, the same, can I extend the same
grace?
But speaking of wary, I feel like the line...
Or if your husband should be wary of your male friends.
Or if people should be wary of their partner's opposite sex friends. I feel like there's a thin line between wary and insecure. Aware.
That's a good one.
A thin line between aware and wary.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, they even sound the same. But and I think that many times we're dancing between the two.
Yes.
Right.
So you've got to catch yourself sometimes and say, am I being aware? Or am I being insecure? And if I'm being insecure, is there something else that's making me?
Feelings.
Yes. Has he given me a reason to be wary about that friendship?
Right.
Or has she? Women are lucky. We've got the sixth sense that men don't have. Really, men don't have a sixth sense. But a lady can walk into a room and she's come to talk to Brian, and immediately
the vibe
antenna will go up and be like, she has
You even just need to hear her name.
Stella.
Stella.
Or she calls and you put the call on loudspeaker and then she's like,
hi. You're like,
no.
Is that Manuela? Tell I said hi.
No. Even if she says Stella, I'm like, please.
I know.
So we have the sixth sense that men don't have. But all of us are dancing on that thin line.
We're straddling both ways.
One way or the, yes. So you've got to catch yourself and sometimes say, am I really being unfair about this?
Right.
She's a female client. Money is coming into the home. Am I being fair?
Right.
Yes. There'll be some.
Yeah.
Why is the female client calling at midnight?
Right.
Why is she sending SMSs at me? Is it that urgent?
Right.
Like,
Exactly. She has to be respectful.
does
Yes.
Humphrey work for fire brigade?
Yes.
Or is he a surgeon?
But now there are those ones.
That's understandable. Yes.
No, there are those girls who call husbands,
Yes.
Other people's husbands.
other people's husbands
yes.
for emergencies.
Why? Exactly.
Exactly.
Why should my husband be your
Why?
emergency
Why
contact?
Thank you. Thanks. And see some people.
No.
Are you an emergency contact, Barbara?
An emergency contact. But before I got married,
Yeah.
I had a few years of single parenthood. So I had friends that said, Barbara, we don't want to wake up in the morning. There was one particular one. And you had an emergency in the night and something happened to you and we heard about it in the morning. We know you're alone with the girls in the house. Please call me. I'll explain it to my wife.
Yes.
Those are there.
Yes.
I will try as much as possible to
Not
call the
to,
single ones.
yes.
But sometimes they're the ones that can sort those issues out. It will start with, hi, can you talk? I have this emergency, before a call comes in. There's a friend I went with, one time we had Nema, my younger daughter, had an asthmatic attack around 11 o'clock in the night. I just walk into their bedroom, just instinct, and she's gasping for air. So she was young, she's 3. I have to hold her upright.
You couldn't drive.
I can't drive with her. Yeah. So I called, but that time I called a single friend of mine who I knew that at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock.
He will be ready. He's
this one is
available.
on his way home. So I called, and luckily for me, he was in Muyenga. He said, I'm just in Muyenga. What's up? I'm like, I need to drive to IHK right now. He said, let me just come down and pick you guys up. So it's scenarios like that.
Yes.
Yeah, but I generally find you as a very respectful person. So because I've seen you I've seen you do the dance with like your male friends. First of all, on your second wedding, they worked the most. Us we were just like us were in the lounge. We were really guests. They really did the work, and so I've seen you respect them, but some people really don't.
Yes.
They don't respect. Talking about the sixth sense, we're joking about it here. But me, I think women, that sixth sense, that's the Holy Spirit. That's
It
Holy
is. It actually
Spirit
is.
talking to you, especially if you're not a bad-mannered woman. If you're a bad-mannered woman, I'm sorry, this conversation is not for you. But if you're like a good woman, you believe the best for your husband, you're not those insecure women, most times, that there's something about that phone call.
Yes.
There's something about when, and you're like, no.
Yes.
You walk into the room
You
and the
walk
person
into the
says,
room
hey, Kale, okay, I've said hi, have a nice day.
There's something.
Do you know what we call emotional affairs? That's
Oh,
when the emotional affair
yes.
begins. And I think the straddling, we have straddled both ends. We know when an emotional affair has begun, and we call it harmless, but it's not.
Because we've not
Yes.
gone physical.
Do you know
why?
why-
Do you have a 1-hour phone call
Yes.
with somebody of the opposite sex, 2 hours?
And
Why
when
are
you
on
have
the
to
phone?
over-explain, you know you're in the wrong. You know when you're off the phone and you have to over-explain who it was, what you're talking about, no one has asked.
Right.
Why are you over-explaining, rationalizing
Something we
it?
talk
You're
about
guilty.
Yeah.
Emotional affairs are the start of something deadly.
Yeah.
And why do we begin it? Because we feel emotionally inadequate. and they fill the void, that's when
Right.
you have to use your head and stop it right there. May God help you, and there's another way you can fill that void.
Right. You always
Stop
have
the
to.
emotional affair. You know when it's about to begin, you know it.
begin, yeah.
And we enjoy it. It's interesting.
Like you
It's
said, it's the
delicious.
attention.
Yes, they give you intellectual stimulation. They understand things that your husband may not be aware of. And you're like,
Right.
I wanted to discuss this. Stop it with your head. Stop using your heart
Right,
at that point.
immediately.
Stop it. Find another source. Or get a friend who will not judge you. And they'll say, did you call Barnabas again? Beverly, what did I tell you? Bring me a phone.
Barnabas.
You need a friend who will say, Barbara, where's the number? I'm going to block it right now.
Right.
Should I call?
Let's
You need
delete
a
it.
radical friend like that.
Yeah.
Who understands, and that's it. That's the only
Right.
person who's going to. Otherwise, others will be like, "Ah, it's okay. Just a phone call. Is
Yeah.
your husband so insecure? No.
Right.
You need a friend who will be that radical, because that's what it's going to take.
But now what
That's
if, like, I
exactly
mean, so because when you're sharing this as an individual.
Yes, I am.
But now you're watching your husband
In
or
that
you're
space.
watching your wife
Yes.
get into
An
an
emotional
emotional relationship. Should
Now,
you be wary? Because
Of
that's
course
where
you
the,
should.
Yeah.
And you know what you do? You tell somebody else who knows and ask about it. Because from experience, sometimes I've had to ask. When I wanted intervention and I said I may be the right person to provide that intervention, let me
Right.
ask someone who knows and say, tell me, am I going crazy? But is
that's
this
a good
happening?
one.
They always have. Sometimes we
They're
feel so
objective because
alone.
they're out
They'll
of
be
it.
objective. Do you know when you feel so alone in certain situations? You feel alone all the time. Sometimes
Right.
I felt, I'm alone. Nobody understands me. It feels so true at that time because I really feel alone. But when you open up and you've dried your tears, you realize that no, you're not alone.
Right.
Look around. There's someone who is willing to listen.
Right.
So stop feeling alone and stop crying all the time. Stop subjecting yourself to this solitude of independent support and I will watch a YouTube channel. No. Seek a friend, seek an objective friend. That friend is always there.
Yeah.
And if it gets the worst, I always say there are people you can pay who understand how to diagnose and they will understand every problem. Pay that person to and share all your problems. They will not judge you. They will
Yeah.
not say, you married a good man and what? Your man did what? Divorce
Does he
him?
buy food?
Does he buy food? Why are you complaining? No. They're objective. Because
Right.
there's a time in my life when I was confused
Right.
about everything. And yet at that point, everyone thought I was at the peak of my success. I was so confused about life. I didn't even know how to articulate it. I went to a person, paid her money, and she understood everything.
And
She
put it
said,
down.
in all the disjointedness, she was able to figure out
the-
what was
put the
happening.
puzzles together.
She had never met me, but she's paid to understand. And she
Yeah.
helped me feel, oh my goodness,
I'm not
I'm
crazy.
just a person who is, and she know what, she was able to see my strength. Said, but I see you as such a confident young woman, and you say you're going through this? All right. Oh my goodness, you know what? So when it gets that, pay somebody because they understand they're paid to be objective and to help you out of it. Their job is to help you out of it.
I've
Yes.
understood you very well. But the phone calls are still happening with my
Yes.
husband. Yeah, I'm talking to this chick.
Yes.
She's telling me my strength. She's being wonderful about it. But the emotional,
Affairs going on.
yeah, it's still going on. But that
Yes.
said though, I
Yes.
like what you said about asking somebody
Yes.
who knows both.
Yes.
Has, you know,
Have someone-
has both and say, you know
Yes.
what? I want to have a conversation and just ask if you feel
Absolutely.
there might be,
Yes.
am I going mad? Am I going nuts? Or what I
Yes.
see is actually what's happening. The only
Yes.
problem with Ugandans.
Yeah.
I
That's
thank
the
you.
thing. That's the
I-
problem, isn't it?
The
Yeah.
phone, after you've made that phone call, another 6 people are going to receive that.
Can
phone
you
call.
imagine?
Yes, or the
Bev calls
WhatsApp
me,
message forwarding, or the forward
Men,
message.
you'll not manage.
You see Manuela
Right.
Brian there
Oh.
on Raid with the Mulondo.
No.
There's
She
a
called
problem.
me.
She called me.
And
Oh,
asked me,
what?
yes.
Oh, yeah, that's a problem.
If you text, screenshots will be shared.
Yeah.
No matter what you do.
Forwards
So, yes,
and-
forwards. So for me, should you be wary? Especially for me, I would speak like as a woman. I want you to know that your sixth sense,
Yes.
most times,
Yes.
again, like if you're a good woman,
Is
most
right.
times
Yes.
is right. Nothing might be happening at that moment,
But it's on
it
the way.
Don't wait for it to happen.
Yes, it has the ability.
The key is in the
The
ignition.
keys in the
It just
ignition
needs to be turned
just
on.
needs to be turned on.
Yeah.
Somebody put a seat belt and to accelerate, and they
Well-
will be able to go. So I keep thinking to myself, like, if you are in such
Yes.
a situation, I think you should be wary.
Yes.
But the question is, what do you do
About it. Get the
because
third person.
most times you might not be able to get the third person.
Yes.
And so what happens is you become a certain way.
Yes.
That then pushes them farther away.
The spouse, right?
The spouse,
Pushes
yes.
the spouse further
Pushes your spouse further away from you. And so what you do at that point is the one that most, for me, I feel, be wary, yes, but you need to be very careful how you react. And for me, most times I've found the answer in, especially if you have a vow.
Yes.
You said a vow, you're married.
Yes.
I've found the best answer in God.
Yes.
I go and call upon my ring. I say, Lord,
Good. I love that.
I made a vow.
Yes.
This is the sign of that vow. So sometimes you'll ask. Now I feel like I need to share a background story. So when we were getting married, one of the questions that we asked each other was, what's your type?
Oh.
Who's your type? So Brian knows my type, and I know his type.
Okay.
And so when we see a type
Hovering.
waltzing around, I'll say, excuse me, Mr. Mlondo, Oyo Sitela is your type. I hope you're watching. Usually, it will go like, hey, I'm like, please. You already surrendered your type.
Yes,
And by then, we're in love. And we're like, what's your type? You know, she's
The
a
rose
lot
is always
you.
blooming.
You know, she's a lot like you. She's, I said, okay. What would be your second type? My second type, she's like this, like this, like that. Okay. Dare I see any around? I said, oh, by the way, do you remember? That one seems like your type.
Let me throw a small spanner in the works.
I don't like spanners.
Types evolve.
No, let me come to that one. So now I go before God. I say, God, I've seen a type hovering around. I made a vow. Unless I didn't make a vow, reveal. You people, revelation is beautiful.
Oh,
Ah.
awesome.
You know,
I have wonderful stories about those.
Revelation.
Oh my God.
Revelation
When
is
you seek the
amazing.
Lord,
When you
yes.
seek the Lord on something,
will not
like when you
disappoint.
honestly seek Him,
Yes.
and your prayer is simple. It's not Mukama. No, your prayer is simple. Lord.
Yes.
I usually call upon vows because God respects vows.
Yes, He does.
Yeah. So this might not work.
He
if you are
honors.
He honors covenants.
Yes.
Sorry. Yes. It might not be on you, I don't know that one. But this one, I know. And I say, Lord, this ring, this vow I made before you, and I made before man. Lord, if there is anything, expose it. Expose it. One day, I said, call those ones of Lord, expose.
Oh, and he exposed, and he said, Lord, stop exposing.
No. I just,
Okay.
I've seen enough.
I know.
Most times your spouse can look like they don't, until they are men, they don't have a sixth sense. Very good. I said, Lord, expose. So one day, it was over Bianca's birthday. She sent a cake.
Oh.
Mr. Molondo boldly brought it. Auntie, no sixth sense. I said, this was a cake from whom? My friend sent a cake. I said, oh, thank you. The good thing is he followed me because he followed me straight into the kitchen. I opened the dustbin, threw it in. I asked him, why don't I have a cake for Bianca, from Rachel, from Sarah, from Rosette, from this one, from this? I named all my girlfriends because they care way more about my daughter than her.
Yes.
I hope you know what this means.
Yes. Yes.
Awenakoma. Mr. Mlondo came in the morning. He said, you know, thank you.
Yes.
He was clueless.
But I like
I honestly don't think men
enough
are
to
clueless.
I don't think men are clueless.
I just feel that
Not
God
clueless.
answered my prayer
He exposed.
for revelation and exposure, so that
So God did it for
I
you.
don't have to be in a place like, why is she calling you? Why is she doing this? No, I
God
didn't.
shouldn't take that place.
No. It's because
It makes you bitter.
it makes you bitter. It makes you
But it also takes away your focus from
Yes.
important things.
From what's important,
and
yes.
brings, the Lord is on our side. I know
in the side of a covenant,
oh
yes.
my God. I know people who have also just prayed and said they pray for their marriages every day.
Yes.
You pray because it's important
Yes.
to put your marriage before God every day. And things have been revealed.
Yes.
Right.
Phone calls that were supposed to go to Sarah
Yes.
to the wife.
Yes.
I know those
Messages.
ones.
Yes. She's not checking the phone. She's not hounding the husband. Messages that were supposed to come. Flowers that were supposed to come.
Go to the
And you're not being a
wife.
control freak.
You're not checking
about it,
you're
no.
not even hunting because God is on our side
Right.
as spouses. And this is both sides. God is on the side of husbands
Right.
and God is on the side of women.
Of course he is.
And
Marriage is his thing.
marriage is his thing, and you guys, God is so serious about marriage. He will not allow games to be played
Yes.
with marriage because he uses marriages for different things.
Right.
Of course.
Some families' marriages are used to bond, to what, to heal, to what, to
Yes.
break, to change foundations. So when you decide to take your marriage casually and play around with it, no.
No, it happened.
is not
That
playing
I
with
think
you.
of messages. That's why I got excited because also me God has ever revealed to me.
Yes.
Nga Brian tell me that guy, Manuel. I'm like, Han, please, really? He said, no, you are my person. So I was sending a message to him. I said,
At what time?
I'm sending a message. And I'm like, oh,
At what
thank
time?
you so much. No, it was during the day.
Okay.
Thank you so much for sorting that. You're my hero. Call Brian.
you have other heroes.
What did I sort? When I'm like,
Woo!
I said, yeah.
How did you work your way
Clear.
out of that?
No. I said,
But-
you know how you just leave it and it immediately shows you that this road you're going down,
Don't
go down.
use your head.
Use your head.
don't.
Stop. Yeah.
Yes.
So that for me, I also feel that Brian maybe prayed that prayer.
Yes.
Because now it came right in front of
Yes.
me. Like, you know, like,
look, shame on you.
wow.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Well, you
exactly
wanted
what-
revelation.
Yes.
God provided it.
It comes.
Yeah.
And
Bev touched, okay.
Yes. Sorry.
You touched something on attention.
Yes.
And I think it's really for both, for men and women.
Yeah.
That thing of I'm not getting attention at home. So when the secretary shows me attention, it's an invitation to dine.
Right.
And it's something that can be addressed. Come home and tell your wife. Come home and tell your husband. When I enter the house, and then you remain holding the remote in your hand and looking at the screen, I feel like a piece of furniture in the house.
Right.
Guys, can we do the hard work?
Can I ask? Because then that will put up his walls or put up her walls to defend. No, but I'm taking care of the children. No. What if we came straight up and said, you know what, Barbara? I don't know what's going on, but the secretary at work these days, I don't know.
She's ordering my
Help
lunch.
me. Help me because I can't leave the job.
Yes.
But this girl, she comes looking attractive. I don't know what that would mean for me as a woman receiving that news. Like, oh, hi, Manuela. There is Brenda in office and she's looking really hot.
It's like step
and
up
I'm
your game.
feeling a certain way.
Yes.
Would that be would that be a more effective way to call upon attention than, and see, when I come home, you don't acknowledge my
I want my new
presence.
dress, you didn't even say I was smart.
Involve your wife in the problem. If Brenda is a problem,
Involve
involve your
her.
wife in the solution.
Okay.
And let you come with your wife on every day that week. And let everyone, did I introduce my wife to you? Here she is, Beverly's here. Oh, hi, Beverly, what? She may not get that message. The next day, Beverly comes with the children. There are 4, so there's one for each of the rest of the days.
With packed lunch.
And then the next time, Beverly will come with, okay, I'm organizing a surprise for my husband with the workmates. So now everyone is so involved in Beverly's. You have to be melodramatic because what is it by violence? Take it!
Yes.
But you people, be creative. Let me tell you, if she doesn't get the message, because now everyone is involved in your family life. Everyone now has a stake in making sure that that man's marriage works because the lady brought us coconut cake on Monday. The next day, the children came and said hello to all of us. You know, I spend so much time at the office. I want you to meet my family because at work, you're like my second family. So here is my family. Here are my 4 daughters.
Right.
Show everyone in the office the 4 daughters and let them speak and say things that are cute. Involve the husband, the spouse and everyone who is at. Let me tell you, See what will happen then. Sometimes you really have to get creative because this person is creative. Bringing cake for your daughter's birthday. Bring cakes for the workmates then. So that all of them now have a stake.
Deliver a pickup of cakes.
No, because then all of them have a stake in protecting your marriage. Do you understand? Each of them will have a stake in protecting your marriage. As I said, that again is a third person. Some of these burdens are too heavy for us to carry.
Right.
Why? I have tried carrying burdens on my own. My personality, sometimes I feel, requires me to carry, but it doesn't.
Right.
Strength is also knowing when you can't do everything on your own.
Right.
And you give that
And you
strength
need
to
help.
the Lord. You give that strength to your friends who will say, Beverly, you are carrying this for so long. Why? Let me take this, so that I can breathe.
Right.
And I like what you mentioned about God, because clearly you rely on God for your marriages, and I love that. What then do we do when our husbands have female prayer partners? Do we say, it's all in the name of Jesus, it's all right now? So, Barbara, Humphrey has a female prayer partner, or maybe you do. Should Humphrey be cautious? Should Humphrey have reason
Auntie, now they're
to
putting
worry?
God.
You said God, and I appreciate that. So, in this space of God,
Again, I don't see.
gender.
I thank you. You're a good student. But then also, we all have gifts.
Right.
There are times I've been through a prayer season, like a whole 40 days of prayer. And I've walked that journey with a male friend or male friends. And because they're able to see certain things, pray with you, share certain things, or they have a certain gift that you need guidance on. You've gone through a season of prayer and fasting because you need guidance, because you need direction, and here is this person that's been through prayer and fasting 40 days like 100 times. They just take it on like this. So you need guidance. You call and they'll say, no, please. Let's be guided here. Right. Or, Barbara, I hear this for you. Is this what's happening? Right. Or you're getting married. This is how we're going to handle it spiritually. You're going to do X, Y, Z. We're going to meet and pray. You're going to call me and we pray. Because they've experienced it, because they've been through it, and because they have that gift that you need in that time. You need to hear. As much as you're hearing, you need someone to hear with you.
To confirm the word.
To confirm the word with you. Then it brings me back to boundaries. Yeah. You're my prayer partner. Should we be praying together at 3 a.m. when the whole world is quiet?
Mm-hmm. Auntie, that's a gate. That's a spiritual gate.
Again, with boundaries. So that's what it brings it to. You can have your prayer partner, because if we're going to limit, then we're going to miss out on some other opportunities. We're going to miss out on some giftings and callings that people have that we need for that season. But let's have boundaries.
Yes.
Let's be guided.
In everything.
Please. We're not going to go to a secluded place because we are prayer partners.
Yes.
And we're in the church alone between 9 p.m. and midnight. Right. And we're praying alone. We're not going to have overnights.
Yes.
The two of us. No, honestly. Yeah. So in as much as, yes, we can have the prayer partners, but let's have boundaries. Let's also not push. Yeah.
The good thing with prayer partners who are going wrong. In the words of a Muganda, it's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time.
And you're using his name for those agendas.
It's only a matter of time before he comes. Now, I mean, Brian is not about to pray with anybody. Right?
That's not about to happen.
That's not about to happen. I am his prayer partner.
He's a prayer leader.
Not leader. He's actually, he stands in the office of a prophet. But so one of the things that I found, and this one, wives, let me give you this card trick. Pray that God gives you eyes to see. So that when your husband discusses with you something, like, let me give you an example. Recently, they were going to play a football game. Yeah? Not play, Arsenal was playing. And then I just asked God, I said, but God, what's the outcome of this thing? Then he said, they're going to lose. So I said, Mukama agambi kanoteka again nakola temuge nasinga. Anyway, so I left. Went, did my things, what they lost. Brian was not happy. He's like, but couldn't you just tell God to give us a win? Very good. Because once he knows you hear from God, who is he looking for to give him
prayer advice, guidance?
He'll be like, my wife, she will tell me. She will tell me. Oh, there was a time, you guys, there was a time in Brian's life when he was in a role. And you know how people are just mean, yeah? They were going to ask him to leave that role, but they had brought his replacement that day.
Oh.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. So I remember the night before, he asked me, so what should I do? I said, you'll not go to work tomorrow. He's like, why? I said, I don't know. But the Spirit tells me,
yes,
don't work tomorrow. He's like, hey, Kale, okay, I won't. They called me and said, Gwe, you don't know what you've done. It was a gig and whatever. They were like, by the way, whoever made you stay home, wow. Yes. Because Baba Deba Galo Kuswaza, you know, like they wanted to embarrass you where you come to work. And your replacement and then your replacement is there. And then they tell you, Bambi, no, sorry, it's him going to work. That was the plan. Yes. So I feel that Brian knows that his wife has a relationship with God. Yes. She doesn't need to, and you can't forge these things. That's a bad thing. You can't make it up
all the time. No. I'm going to pray.
I'm prayerful.
God tells me.
He needs to come and ask you, what do you see? Then you're like,
where does it say in the Bible? They will be known by their fruit.
Yes.
Your fruit.
Yes. And that person I'll tell you, Baby, I've not prayed about it. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. It's like, okay, Kale, just pray a covering over me. Then you come and say, thank you for that prayer. I was covered. So I think that as wives, especially where it comes to prayer, because I know how these prayer things work there.
You know, your responses are deeply insightful. And I just feel lives have changed because my life has changed. I've actually learned so much. Sometimes you feel you know all the answers. I mean, this is prayer. I've been a Christian for long. Until you hear so much deep, intimate thoughts from people who are also close to God and the Holy Spirit, you realize there's so much to learn. We're here to learn and sharpen one another. Right. I strongly believe that intimacy is powerful. It's such a powerful force. That's why sex is so powerful, and it's been used to bring down kingdoms and strongholds and broken down companies.
Right.
Prayer is another intimate space.
Right.
Because it's spiritual. You people, when you're praying, you're not using words. Your spirits are exchanging and agreeing.
Right. That's powerful.
Yes. And my first real prayer partner was called Sarah. We met at Makerere College School. When I finished campus and I got a job teaching at an international school, I bought a car, which was worth 2.4 million shillings those days.
Right. You can't even get a 2.4.
5,000 shillings from home to the school and back. That was petrol. We used to pray in that car. It was such a powerful space. We used to pray in that car. So we started praying about things we wanted. Lord, bring us the right men. Lord, we want money. Lord, we want to do our masters. You know the things, career growth, you want to get married, things of that a normal Christian woman would want. Those who are seeking really great things. It starts like that, but then it becomes deeper. I understood so much about her life, spiritual things in her life and darkness. And she began to understand things about mine because those things are revealed in the spirit. Right. So while you may start and say, we are here as people on Bump Love, the new host of Bump Love 2.0, let's pray for the show. Do you know what things are going to be revealed to me about your life?
Right.
God is going to reveal things to you about my marriage. Barbara, be ready. Manuela, God is going to reveal things to you about my children that I did not know, but He's using you. This is a season. And when we agree in the spirit, all that intimacy is taking place. I believe. Do not have a prayer partner whom you may want to have sex with, or it's a possibility you will have sex with.
I agree.
That's why I strongly believe have a prayer partner who is of the same sex. I'm not saying don't ask someone to pray for you who's of the sex. My pastor, Pastor Godson, after church, sometimes I say, Pastor, please pray for me. I'm going through this. He will pray. He's prayed over my daughters, all right? And that's fine. It's in front of everyone. He will pray. Oh, Beverly, we're going to pray. This is going to be done in Jesus' name. That's fine. Emma prays for people all the time, all right? Do you know what it means to have a prayer partner? Let me tell you. It's the second next intimacy intimate thing to sex. That's what I believe. It's too intimate. You're sharing spirits and you're sharing. And you want me to share that with a man? Something is going to happen. I'm sorry. Kill the flesh. When you're in the things of the spirit, don't let the flesh interfere.
Right.
That's what I believe.
I hear you.
Yeah, that's what I believe. I believe there's...
I didn't see it like
that's
that.
What I believe, yeah.
I didn't see it,
yeah.
But I feel like
yes.
when you brought the spiritual angle to
it's spiritual, man.
Yes.
When
I'm like,
connect with people's spirit,
yes,
with
you
them
do.
as people,
Yeah.
yes. And then everything that happens in the spiritual realm comes down into the physical realm. So if you're intertwining and agreeing, you find that one day there's a matter on the table between you and your husband about which land to buy.
Yes.
And then your prayer partner says,
I feel something.
I feel something about that land. Hey, you people, prophets, pastors can get marriages into trouble for that. I've never understood why there's so much power in your prayer partner vis-a-vis your spouse. I'm telling you, someone will fight to the nail to defend what they've agreed on, obviously in spirit with their prayer partner over what they've agreed on with their spouse. That's Bev. I honestly I didn't see it in that angle. But what if we have something less spiritual? Okay, I don't say less spiritual because I feel like everything somewhere is spiritual. Like, what about the less spiritual, like intimate relationships between a guy and a girl, like mentors or coaches or like even psychologists, and like I keep telling her. I remember there was a time she was telling me I need to go for therapy. I need to go for therapy. A conversation that I have been dodging for such a long time. And then I asked her, okay, give me examples of, which places I can. Send me a long list of men. I'm like, Barbara, you want me to go and cry before men? Really? The risk of going and bearing my soul before this guy, like, what will that be like? Like, what's your thought around those relationships? Because they do become friendships.
Yes, they do.
And then, anyway.
Because of the position I'm in, I train young learners. I've been a mentor knowingly and unknowingly.
Right.
Sometimes people call me ma or auntie. I work with African poets, and sometimes the younger Nigerian men will say ma. It's respectful. I don't like it. I don't like being called auntie or ma or mama. Please call me Beverly or Bev.
Oh, madam.
Saying Yumva is fine.
Right.
But for younger Nigerian men,
I hate it. And then people call me mom. I'm just
I don't like it at
all.
Mama,
auntie. No.
And so
embrace.
No, that one I'm not embracing. Sorry.
The reference is to respect me as an older woman who has given a service of nurturing. And what they mean is your maternal ability has really guided us as young men. That's what it means. Even then, you must have boundaries. Because even in my position of providing maternal support, I am telling you, these young men and these, you have to have boundaries. And even then, my instincts are alert because I am aware when a boundary is going to be crossed or it has been crossed and I need to check it immediately. And do you know what? That's when I call in, my husband and our 4 children, my husband, until they get the message. Because it may start with...
Even if you like the person.
Yes, because I like them in the position of I've really changed their lives. But do you know how powerful, again, an influence you have by changing someone's life? People get attracted to people just from online following.
Right.
You follow somebody online, you follow their YouTube channel, you follow their Facebook page, you become attracted because of this provider and protector and this icon who is representative of what you are not.
Right.
And that's idolizing. Right. And idolatry is a problem because then that person is replacing God.
Right.
And because I'm in this space, suddenly I am being idolized.
Right.
What I see, though, is that I've provided a space and people's lives are being impacted. If it is not checked, these people begin idolizing, they'll give you a gift. I want to thank you. Another, you're like, wait a second. This is no longer an innocent relationship of me being 20 years older and providing maternal support. Something is happening, and it's so easy. When you're in a position where you're adored because of who you are, it's so easy for those younger ones to fall for you.
Right.
That is why when I was teaching, the 2 schools I've taught at have been international schools, there were strict codes with a male, with any student actually.
Right.
I taught A-level English, Cambridge. There was one student in one of the classes. So strict, leave the door open. When it's open, make sure everyone can see you when they're passing. Not only would I would shout so that everyone knows that lesson is taking place. You make it that clear. You don't sit like this. The chair is there. We said, the chair is there. You have to be that careful. There were strict codes because they knew. One of my mentors was British. She was like, Beverley, don't even allow these students to follow you on social media while they're still students. Don't. When they've left, then they can. You can accept their friend request. And I understood why. It may seem a bit too excessive, but my dear, once it's crossed, they see you differently. You see them as a student, they see you differently until for them it's a sexual experience, and they become excited every time you walk into the classroom.
Right.
When you're coming to mentor these young ones, public speaking training, they get excited. Check it, set the boundaries. Always check, ask for the cultural parameters and boundaries. Prevent it before it becomes worse.
Yeah.
Prevent it,
Right.
yeah, always. The glass, what house are we in now? It was a glass house before. Which one are we in now?
Is there still a house? Anyway, I feel like we've had a very exciting discussion. Tables have been shaken, houses have been broken, but this is life, and we've got to deal with it. They happen to us every day. I think my last comment really is that we need to accept that we're not animals. We have control over these things.
Yeah, right.
And we can stop things that when we feel we're going to the wrong direction. And we shouldn't feel like we are lost. And guys, I didn't know what was happening. I just found myself. Yes, I just found myself here. No. You felt it.
Yes.
But you enjoyed it, like Bev
Yes.
said. You and then maybe there's that car risk. Some people like living on the edge. And at any given time,
exciting.
their
The edge
adrenaline
is so nice.
Yes, their adrenaline is.
You leave the edge, guy, you're like, ha.
When
Now
you-
someone pay.
Thank you. But so many times you actually fall off the edge.
Yes.
Slowly. My drink was
Your drink is there. Yeah. So let's be guided.
Yes.
Yes, friends. Thank you so much for journeying with us this show. Please continue the conversations in the comments. Send us your comments. Send us your good or bad. Let's hear from you. And I'd like to say thank you to the GLAM teams that make sure that every show we look beautiful, we are glowing, and we're able to come here and represent them. Tina Brow and Sununu Effect for makeup, Zuri Luxury for the hair, Arija Fashions and Cadia Fashions for the clothes and shoes. Thank you. Till next time, with love from Bump Love.